sin based on the current Pokémon world. In the distant past, when the boundaries between Pokémon and humans was still blurred, there was a woman and her companions. Every day they were bored, so they would often catch Slakoth living in the nearby forest. They played cruel games with the captured Slakoth, sometimes killing them for fun, gouging out their eyes, or cutting off their ears. What the fuck? One day, the woman was walking alone in the forest and saw a Slakoth hanging from a tree. She climbed the tree to catch it, but slipped and injured herself. At that moment, a Vigoroth appeared. This Vigoroth had a torn ear. The woman, startled, tried to flee, but her injured leg hurt too much, and she couldn't move. The Vigoroth with the torn ear suddenly attacked her when it saw her. The woman lost consciousness. When she awoke, she was in an unfamiliar place. Before her lay a clear lake, surrounded by trees, from which many Slakoth and Vigoroth were hanging. All the Pokémon bore wounds somewhere on their bodies, marks left by the woman and her companions. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that some of the Slakoth hanging from the trees were corpses. They were the very Slakoth that the woman and her friends had killed and discarded. The Slakoth were throwing those corpses into the lake. Terrified, the woman tried to run away, but the Slaking appeared. This Slaking also had a torn ear. The woman realized that this was the same Vigoroth she had seen earlier, and fear overwhelmed her, causing her to faint once more. When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself at the entrance of the forest near her home, surrounded by her friends. They carried her back to her house. Sometime later, the woman gave birth to a child, but it wasn't a human child. It was a Slakoth. She intended to abandon it, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She stopped meeting with her friends and decided to raise the Slakoth. One day, her friends, concerned about her, visited the area near her home. They found the Slakoth sleeping there, the child of the woman. As they always did, they caught the Slakoth, stabbed it in the chest and killed it. They took its corpse and headed to the woman's house, and when she saw the slain Slakoth, the woman was overwhelmed with sorrow. She grabbed Slakoth's body and ran deep into the forest. Her friends, shocked, chased after her. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the surroundings suddenly opened up, and they found the same clear lake from before. Around the lake were many Slakoth and Vigoroth. The woman stood there before the lake and, holding the lifeless body of the Slakoth, she threw herself into the water. Afterwards, the woman's friends began to treat Slakoth as companions, just as she had in her final moments. What? Theme: the collapse of culture and relationships. There was a time when the boundary between Pokémons and humans was blurred. In a coastal village, there was a man. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he found a female Octillery washed up on the beach. The man had relations with the Octillery and then threw it back into the sea. Never even gave it any fair money to get home. The next day, he went to the same spot and found the same Octillery again. He once more had relations with it and then threw it Sharpedo were playing along the beach. When he tried to get even closer, the Sharpedo suddenly leapt into the sea all at once. Wait, did he just walk across an orgy? However, one of the Sharpedos lingered, looking around 3 times before swimming away. At the spot where the Sharpedo had been playing, there was a huge sword laying in the ground. It was the shape he had never seen. It was a shape he had never seen before, and it was very sharp and pointed. But the young man took the sword home. The next day, the young man took the sword and went into the forest. While walking through the forest, he encountered an Ursaring. He tried slashing at the Ursaling's mouth with the sword, and the mouth was easily severed. Next, he stabbed the Ursalings and they were easily pierced. Finally, the young man thrust the sword into Ursaring's chest, and the Ursaring died effortlessly. That day, the young man killed 30. What the fuck? Ursaring. God, after that, he always carried the sword with him, playing by injuring the Pokémon he encountered or cutting off parts of their bodies. One autumn, while the young man was searching for firewood, he lost his way. After walking for a while, he stumbled upon an Ursaring's den. Inside, there was an elderly Ursaring lying down. The elderly Ursaring, looking at the young man, and said, "Come inside." The young man hesitated, but as it was dark outside, he entered the den. Before long, people began to enter the den one after another, filling the room completely. Looking closer, he saw that all the people had scarred faces and some were missing their eyes. They were chatting among themselves, but the young man ignored them and fell asleep. At one point, he woke up to find the elderly Ursaring lying beside him. He fell asleep again. When he woke once more, there was many people around him talking about something. Again, the young man ignored them and went back to sleep. When spring arrived, the elderly Ursaring spoke. "Do you want to go home? Then I shall send you home. When you return, a whale lord will soon be found near the village. Go there, we will send a man. You must leave the sword behind and bring a witness." Why did you do such things? Cutting faces and slicing off noses. The elderly Ursaring escorted the young man back to the village. Upon his return, the young man recounted everything that had happened to the villagers. The following morning, the young man took some villagers with him and headed to the shore. As they walked along the coast, they found a large whale lord. Nearby, on the beach, was a teddy ursa. When it noticed the young man, the teddy ursa hid in the forest, and a large Ursaring came out of his place. As the Ursaring charged him, the young man tried to draw the sword he had hidden, but it got stuck and he couldn't pull it out. So he rushed at the Ursaring with his bare hands. The young man and the Ursaring grappled, punching each other's faces. They strangled each other with all their strength, and so they choked each other to death, collapsing on top of one another. The villagers went back and told others what they had seen. What the fuck is this? Theme: the relationship between humans and Pokémon. Human-like ways of thinking. Long ago, when the boundaries between Pokémon and humans was unclear, there was a village somewhere. One day, a girl from that village went into the mountains to gather firewood. She found well-dried dead wood deep in the forest, so she kept going further in. Before she realized it, the sun was setting and she had lost her way. Around her, there were droppings from a typhlosion, which made the girl anxious. Just then, a man appeared from the other side of the forest. His face didn't resemble anyone from the forest, but he was very handsome. The man said, "You must be lost, right? I know the way down the mountain, but with your pace, it would be midnight before we got there. I'll take you back tomorrow morning, so why don't you just rest at my place tonight?" The girl had no choice but to agree to the man's man was a Typhlosion. As winter approached, the Typhlosion dug deeper into the cave and said to the girl, "Go and gather wood for firewood. Break off the branches from the higher parts of the tall trees." The girl tried to do as the Typhlosion instructed, but the tall trees scared her, so she could only climb the shorter ones. When she brought back some branches, the Typhlosion said, "That won't do. If it's not from higher branches, humans will find us." Okay. When the snow began to fall, the two of them lived in the depths of the cave, mostly sleeping. There was plenty of food. Occasionally they would wake up, eat, and then go back to sleep. One day when she awoke, the girl was holding a child. After several days and nights passed, the Typhlosion said, "Your father is looking for you, but you are my wife, so I can't return you. I will have to fight him." The girl pleaded, "Please don't do that. Don't kill my father. How can I live with you if you kill my family? You are a good person, so please stay here with me and sleep." Stockholm Syndrome. "Alright, let's stay here and sleep," the man nodded. The next night, the Typhlosion woke the girl and said, "Your father is close by. Go and see him." When the girl went outside, a snowstorm was raging. She climbed a low tree and broke off a branch. When she returned to the cave, the Typhlosion was singing a song she had never heard before. "You broke off a branch, didn't you? Soon your father will come here. I am going to do something bad to your father. If I am killed, take my eyes, my voice, and my heart. Build a fire at the spot where I was killed and burn them, and while you burn them, sing this song until the fire goes out." The girl says, "Please don't do it. Don't kill my father. If anyone is to be killed, let it be you." Wait, what? "Goodbye, we will never meet again." With those words, the Typhlosion went outside. After a while, there was a loud noise, and when the girl looked outside, she saw her father had killed the Typhlosion. She rushed out and said to her father, "Father, you have killed my husband. I have been living with him all this time. He was my husband. Please give me my husband." The Typhlosion's eyes, voice, and heart. The girl built a fire at the place where the Typhlosion had been killed and put his eyes, voice, and heart into the flames. She sang the song the Typhlosion had taught her until the fire burned out. The girl's father built a small hut on the edge of the village for the girl and her child to live in. Eventually, spring arrived. The young men of the village often teased and tormented the girl and her child. It became worse over time, and one day they tried to drape the Typhlosion's belt over them. The girl returned home and pleaded with her parents, "Please tell the villagers to stop teasing us. If they put that belt on us, we will surely become Typhlosion. We are already half Typhlosion as it is." Despite the parents' pleas, the villager did not listen. In fact, they found it even more amusing and eventually draped the Typhlosion belt over the girl and her child. At that moment, they howled loudly and vanished into the depths of the forest. The two were never seen again, and so people came to understand Typhlosions are half human beings. What the actual fuck are they? I guess they do stand up on two legs. Theme: humans hunting Pokémon. Native American ecology facility. Ecology. Philosophy. In the past, where the boundary between humans and Pokémon were blurred, there was a grassy plain and We have children now. If I die, there will be none of us left in this plane. The man from the west lowered his bow and said, Then I will not kill you. However, I desire your beautiful mane, so I will ask you to become my wife. The Rapidash became the wife of the man from the west. What the fuck? After about 2 months, when Ponyta began to appear on the plains, the man from the west was riding on the back of his wife, the Rapidash, running across the plain. Eventually they reached a place where many Rapidash and Ponytas were resting. The wife said, They are my husbands. If you need, you may. What? You may hunt them. If you treat them with care, they will not die. However, do not kill the female Rapidash or the Ponyta. The female Rapidash are my sisters and the Ponyta are my children. That means the female Rapidash are your sisters-in-law and the Ponyta are like your children. A few days later, the man from the east went out hunting. When he reached the plains, he found a Ponyta. He immediately shot an arrow and killed it. As he continued looking for more prey, one wasn't enough. He encountered a Rapidash. It was a female Rapidash. The Rapidash tried to say something, but the man from the east ignored it and shot his arrow. He then cut off the mane of the Rapidash he had killed and, proud of the beautiful mane, decided to show it off to the man from the west. He wrapped the mane around his neck and headed home. Eventually, tired of walking, the man from the east decided to rest under a large tree by the lake. As the man from the west and his wife, the Rapidash, walked along the lake shore, they saw a glimpse of the Rapidash mane under the shadow of the big tree. He is male, he has no children, so if you need, you may hurt him, said the wife. With that, the man shot an arrow. Wait, what? The man shot an arrow at the Rapidash. When he approached the prey, he found... What? When he approached the prey, he found the man from the east laying there wrapped in the Rapidash mane. Take this beam back with you, and when you hunt Rapidash, follow the rules I have told you. With those words, the Rapidash said farewell to the man from the west and returned to the plain. What? I'm too small-brained to understand any of that. They really put the freaking Game Freak, Jesus.